Let's also focus on some other earnings. TeamLease came out with its numbers. Let's see what the stock is up to in an otherwise tempered market. It's just flattish as of now. So the EBITDA margin has actually seen a bit of a growth there. The PAT has jumped up to about almost 9 odd crore rupees, and the top line as well has grown by about almost 11 odd %. So let's bring on board Ashok Reddy. He's the MD and co-founder at TeamLease. Mr. Reddy, hi, good morning. Your staffing vertical continues to drive growth with a strong associate headcount of about almost 1.17 lakh. Which areas of temporary staffing, according to you, are seeing good traction?
So I think again we are seeing good movement across industries and clients, and especially if you look at it in the last quarter, we've added over 400 customers, and I think a large element of that growth in associates and from these customers will also come into Q3 and Q4. There is a seasonality element that Q3 and Q4 has, and the addition of the clients, the preparation of the foundation in that sense prepares us for good growth. But I think we are seeing demand coming from across sectors at this point in time.
I want to also understand, in the staffing business you are in, when you are dealing with corporates, will this entire transaction of black money into white money, could that have an impact on demand per se? We were speaking to a couple of construction companies yesterday, and they are worried because at a subcontractor level, they still have to give wages in cash.
So our belief is, and the staffing companies and a company like TeamLease plays to the formal sector. 100% of our associates get their salaries through check or a bank transfer. So our belief is that this action by the government to try and flush the element of the black money out, or the element of inability to pay the cash, will drive the element of employment more into the formal sector. So going forward, whether it's the GST implementation, whether it is the aspect of removing the black money, will play to the formalization of the employment scenario. Because the reality in India, over 30% of the workforce is outsourced, 98.5% of that is in the informal sector. So our belief is that various initiatives of the government on this front will effectively benefit the formalization and create a platform on which all employees get benefits, statutory compliances, and payments through the banking system, which is good in the long run.
Your client base has seen a nice growth of about almost 50% in the last 2 quarters. How much of this has come via acquisitions, and which pockets are you now focusing on going forward?
So, like I said, I think over the years we've kind of become a proxy for the labor market in India. So we do cater to all industry segments, multiple companies. I think the concept of temping, the formalization of employment, is gaining traction, which kind of reflects both in the number of customers coming on board, and also the growth in associates and the transitions that are happening on the overall associate headcount growth. So I think as we go forward, obviously we don't have a concentration to any one industry. The top 10 customers still account for only about 12% of our volumes. But FMCG, the e-commerce, there are various other sectors in manufacturing and so on, who still continue to effectively look at formalization in a large way.
Just a final question then. You've done about 1,600 crore rupees revenue in the first half, with profit just, little more than about 16 odd crore rupees. How better could the second half be, and what's the growth strategy?
So if you really look at it, I think historically we've always sustained a 20 to 25% year-on-year growth on the top line. And I think the economies of scale that we are betting on are really starting to pay off on the bottom line front. So we've had about a 19% half-year to half-year comparison revenue growth, but the profit jump has been more than 50%. So I think the economies of scale have started to contribute. Productivity increases have been happening on a quarterly basis. So a lot of investments that we made in the earlier period have started to pay off now. And going forward, our belief is that these economies of scale will continue to support the margin growth. So while we will have an element of a revenue growth in line with our past, I think our margin improvement can be substantially large given the economies of scale and the flow through to the bottom line, given that we have largely invested in the business. And if you look at it even on the core employee headcount, there's been a reduction, which effectively reflects the productivity improvement of the organization.
Good to hear that. And congratulations once again, and good luck for the future quarters. That's the word then coming in from TeamLease management. The stock, by the way, is actually holding up by 1% as we speak. It started off a little bit soft, but has picked up post the management commentary. What about the market?